So we now bring in Tom Eschen to make some picks. Hi, Tom.
Hey.
With some of the other games going on around the country here this weekend. Let's start in the ACC. Big one on Saturday. Syracuse, North Carolina in the Carrier Dome. Who you got?
I know this one took a while for me to really figure out because Syracuse really hasn't beaten anybody this year other than Virginia, which was like a year ago now at this point.
It's a really good win.
It was a really good win. They looked as good as they looked like the team we thought they were going to be.
Yeah.
Though I'm still leaning towards North Carolina. I know they haven't beaten a ton of people either, technically in the ACC, mind you. They've only won one of those games. Virginia as well. So you have that common victory. Fopp for Syracuse has been the worst guy in faceoffs in the ACC now, and I think that also could be a big determining factor. Just who has the ball more at the end of the day? Is it Chris Gray who has the ball more than the other side of the equation? If it's the answer is yes, then usually that's going to translate for things for North Carolina. So I'm leaning that way, 15-12. UNC on top over Syracuse, rekindling the memories from 2 years ago in the ACC tournament when Carolina knocked them off by 1.
I'm going the other way with this one. I'm riding with the orange. Look, they need to figure out things at the face-off X, though I think they can here against North Carolina, so that's not my big concern. Defensively is concern. I think this is a track meet. I got Syracuse 16-15. Honestly, the two biggest factors in this one is, one, for whatever reason, the last 4 years, Syracuse finds a way to beat North Carolina in the regular season, and it's in the Dome. I think this at UNC, it's a different story. In the Dome, the Orange need this more. Like, all week, they have to know, because they got 3 straight top 5 teams to finish off the year. So there's no gimmies. This is the one they need at home. It's their last home game of the year, so I think they get this one.
You could say Carolina wants it just as much as they do.
Yeah, but I think Syracuse at home, their last home game of the year, I think they need it more as they head on the road.
All right.
Let's go CAA, which has been one of the most entertaining conferences all season so far. Big one. We got Delaware and Hofstra. Who do you like?
Both these teams coming off a loss, but they both have seemed like two of the best teams in the CAA all year, though Drexel now seems like they're playing the best lacrosse they played all year. They started late. Now they're playing better as the season goes on. But I want to now lean on the Hofstra side of things in this game because they had a COVID pause, if you all recall, towards the end of March. This is their 3rd game since then. They came back and beat Fairfield impressively, 16-11. Their 2nd game back was the loss to Towson 10-8. And you've seen teams, when they've gone through this, eventually sort of get back to maybe what they want to be in terms of playing together and figuring out the game flow and whatnot. So I think maybe this is Hofstra's opportunity to do just that. And I do think that could be a big reason for it. Obviously, we know Ryan Tierney, Mike Robinson. That should be a wonderful battle on each side to watch. I'm going to lean towards the side of Hofstra in this one because I feel like they're starting to play better and better lacrosse, while Delaware might have peaked too early.
So I think with Hofstra, it's interesting because I would have, after that Friday game against UMass that we did last Friday night, I would have said, this Hofstra team's rolling. They then go to Towson and lose. The biggest question for me is, can they figure out it offensively if Ryan Tierney continues to deal with what he's going to deal with the rest of the way? I think Towson did a really good job on him again. That Towson defense is really good. And I like Reed Kurtz to be able to not neutralize, but at least take Ryan Tierney enough out of his game that he's not going to take over, because that's what we saw against UMass. As soon as Ryan Tierney got going, that game flipped late in the first half. So I got Delaware 12-10 because of the Reed Kurtz on Tierney matchup. Delaware offensively, they're going to get theirs.
Yeah.
So the question is, does Hofstra get theirs at their end? I think they do just enough to keep Tierney enough out of the game that Delaware can get the win.
Another game where face-offs could be the key. 67% for Herbert with Hofstra. That's a sort of a big advantage there as well. And
Delaware's been using a couple of different guys there. We'll see what hot hand they can ride.
Okay.
Denver, Georgetown rematch in the Big East.
I'm going T.D. Erlin factor here because he wasn't in the first game between these two.
He still won.
What, 33 for 40 this year? I mean, come on, everyone. There's no reason that Denver should lose this game. They lost to Duke and North Carolina. They really haven't been touched since then. They are just the talent they've brought over, you could say, just added to make them even better with the guys from Yale. And Jackson Morrill, 24 and 24 this season. He's doing what he did as the quarterback at Yale in Denver with those pieces around him. I just think Georgetown, as good as they're playing defensively, they've only allowed double-digit goals twice this season. One of those was against Denver. Denver's going to do it again, 13-7. I gave Georgetown another goal.
Yeah,
the last game.
I say this is slightly closer. I'm going 13-9 only because Georgetown gets Gibson Smith. He did not play back. He did not play in the first meeting between these two, so I think he helps on the defensive end for Georgetown. But I just don't know if they've got the horses. Denver's too good.
What I love,
they're figuring it out.
The TD Erdlin factor is fascinating to me because he's a guy that can go in and win one or two or three in a row. Say, you can mix it up a little bit, and he can be your game changer no matter what's going on now. And I think that's a beauty of the impact he's going to make and sort of bringing himself within with the Staticus and also already in there and winning them more than 50% of the time.
All right, women's game, final one. UNC Virginia, they play twice this weekend. Who's winning each?
I'm going to go with a split. This was tough. I'm going to say North Carolina has not done this year. They haven't done the old Friday, Sunday deal, the doubleheader against the same team. Virginia has, and when they did it very, very well. They got killed by Duke on a Friday game. It was what? 17-8 the next time. 2 days later, they come back and win 14-11. And Travis, we've talked about this several times. What's the one thing that can take down North Carolina?
What?
A hot goalie.
Oh, okay.
And we saw that in the Notre Dame game.
True.
North Carolina won by just one. Bridget Dean had 14 saves. Charlie Campbell for Virginia. She is hot.
She's very hot.
18 saves against Syracuse.
Playing really well.
They lost, but still, she gets hot in one of those games. Anybody's ball game. For all of those factors, I'm picking Virginia. I might regret it.
Nope.
But I'm picking them on Sunday.
No, UNC sweep. I think they got their scare against Notre Dame. If there was going to be somebody that beat them, I think it was Notre Dame last weekend. They didn't get it done.
You thought that was going to be a four-goal game, and it wasn't.
But if there is a game, like there are those games, you know it. There's a trap game. You walk in, and it's somebody's day. It was Notre Dame's day, and they couldn't beat them still.
No? Yeah.
I think UNC sweeps the weekend.
All right. Can't wait to find out.